question is going to be if it's under 115.
We got the halibut shrinker on board. There's gonna be some sheep to come out of that.
As long as you keep their head in the water, they're pretty
If
good.
you leave them lay, they just lay there.
No, but generally they see the boat.
Off they go.
Whoa, that's a big one. Oh,
He's gonna make it. He's gonna just make it. He's gonna be 114.5 centimeters.
come on, Dino.
Nice fish.
Well done, buddy.
Damn.
Perfect.
114.
So that's the biggest you're allowed to eat.
That you could just. Oh, come on. That's a hole in one.
You can't do any better.
That's a hole in one because at 115 or over, back she
Let's
goes.
throw him back.
Yeah. And you're at 114. 0.5.
Holy mackerel.
No, holy halibut.
Yeah, other than that, let's get going. You're gonna blast across the harbor, put up some crab traps. So I guess if you guys were last out here 5 or 15 years ago, there's a couple new things. The big metal silos there, that's for wood pellets. I've been a guide for 6 years now. I've been on a boat since I was in diapers. So the ocean and me are pretty well acquainted. My dad, an amazing fisherman, and yeah, he's sparked my love for the ocean my whole life.
I have been fishing for 51 years because I'm now 53 and I started when I was 2. I've been guiding for over 20 years now. I ended up moving to the ocean over 20 years ago, and I had my own small boat, and all of a sudden I realized that I had way more friends and relatives than I ever thought I had before, because they all showed up on my doorstep and wanted to go fishing. And that was all fun and games until things start breaking and they get very expensive, and I couldn't afford to do it anymore. So I went and got my guiding tickets and licenses and bought a bigger boat and went into business.
Right now, the bulk of our clientele is from northern BC and all over Alberta. A small portion of our clientele is from the United States. That's been dwindling over the recent years. And southern BC has a bit, and then we get a few from all over the rest of Canada.
Watch, because they're very, very pokey. They're all pokey and they're venomous. You get both of them swell up like a balloon and it stings. Stings really, really badly. But they're tasty little critters.
Things really swing into action late May and early June. I mean, right now it's the very start of May and we're out catching fish. There's always some out there, but season really gets into full swing late May, early June. Then all through June, all through July, all through August. I leave at the end of August to go back to school, and Rod keeps fishing right through end of September almost.
Of all the places on the west coast of British Columbia or west coast of North America to fish, Port or Prince Rupert is by far the best fishing opportunities available. The most varied species and length of the season. I began guiding in Port Hardy, and then I guided in Vancouver, Victoria, Sault, Port Renfrew, Petter Bay, all those kind of places. Then when I finally got here, I knew I was in the right place. The season starts so early in the year, runs so late, you can in fact fish 12 months out of the year here. We have access to virtually every salmon that winters in the Gulf of Alaska and migrates south to every river as far south as the Sacramento River in California. They all pass right through Chatham Sound and Hecate Strait. We have access to them 24/7. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to fish.
Get him, get him, get him. There you go.
See, told you I was guarding the fit in the line.
You were sleeping, we caught you.
One lone little fish swimming by.
The reason we use a lure like this is called an anchovy. It's a Northern Pacific anchovy. It was live at one time. Put in a teaser head with a treble hook stuck and made into a nice little arc so that when you put it in the water, it twirls in an irregular pattern. The reason we do that is that when you're hunting salmon feed on these fish, but they feed on them when they're in schools. But salmon are not fast enough to actually catch one of these live and eat it. First of all, they have to eat it head first. They can't eat it from the tail. They eat it head first, and they cannot catch one live because they're just too fast. And then the salmon are not that fast. So what they do, the salmon will get together and circle around a ball of these fish, and the fish naturally come together into a big ball, and they get really tight, and all of them fight to get into the center where the safety is. Then what the salmon do is they attack from the outside and they swim through that ball and they slash their tails. That's what this little guy that's moving around in the water looks like. It looks like a salmon slashing through a bait ball. And then once the salmon swim through and slash their tails, they turn around, they look around, and they look for one of the fish that they've hit with their tails, and they stun those fish, and they leave the safety of the bait ball, and they swim erratically in a circular pattern like this. And the faster they go, the more not silly they are. And then they're easy pickings. Then the fish can come, turn around, and bang, they get to swallow your fish. So you can pull through a school of 1,000 of these little fish, and when yours pulls out through the ball, the fish see that and they're opportunists. They say, oh look, there's one that my buddy knocked senseless for me. I'm gonna eat it. And they go and they attack it, they hit it, and that's when you get your fish. That's how the whole lure works, and that's how we attract them. A spoon works the same way, as does a hoochie or any other plastic lure or live bait. Ooh, why is that one going that way?
We're gonna try a piece of salmon on the back. When we're salmon fishing, we typically look for shelves and kelp beds. Especially kelp beds, you really want to drift past those. Bottom fishing, we like nice sandy plateaus, and even rock piles. Jigging those can produce some really nice bottom fish results.
And start biting.
Just leave it up there now. Leave it up there. That's it. Let's drop it back. Just leave it up there. And let the rod do all the work.
Yeah. Oh, we've got peeler. Nice.
What was that?
Good job, Dad.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Well played.
Well, you caught two. You're done.
They're so nicely colored.
Fishery officer, recently transferred to Prince Rupert from Powell River. Been with the department for just over 3 years now, and just currently out here just kind of learning the area right now, and obviously checking commercial and recreational boats and whatever vessels we kind of come across.
Between triple and...
And how do we do?
You guys did good. Yeah, everything, all halibut was marked down, which was great. You guys are obviously in good hands, and you know, everything was of legal size, which is perfect. Yeah.
I'm sitting on a boat right now. It's a 2860 trophy offshore. This boat has the distinction of catching the largest salmon ever in the history, as far as we know, of the charter fleet in Prince Rupert. We were about 1.5 miles south from where we're sitting right now, trolling around in very rainy, wet weather, but nice and calm, but very wet. And the lead guide on my boat put out a cut plug herring, and he caught my clients a 65-pound chinook salmon. It was so big, we could not get it in the big nets that we use. The great big jumbo coolers that you use to transport fish, it wouldn't go in. Absolutely wonderful chinook salmon. It took about 1.5 hours to bring that fish to the boat, get him tired enough to get him into the boat. I mean, we've caught bigger fish, you know, big halibut, 200, 300 pounds, but as far as a good fighting, solid fish, that was something I'll never forget. I tried to get a picture with it. I couldn't lift it up. I literally hurt my arms trying to hold it up for a picture, but what a thrill. And for the angler, it was the first salmon he had ever caught in his life. He was from central Saskatchewan, and he had never seen a fish like that. First one in his life, and he'll never get another fish like that.
Tons of wildlife. That's probably my favorite part about the job. We saw a couple harbor porpoises yesterday and today. We saw a whale yesterday, and there's lots of those around. We'll see bears on shore, we'll see wolves on shore, and even swimming out across the islands. Yeah, there's always lots to see around here.
No, it struck at that. And I can seriously say that honestly. I did not catch it.
You had your chance.
Wow, the hook wasn't sharp enough.
That's it.
So the only edible part. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Patiently waiting.
Let me